professor? Yeah, the professor, right? Okay, so Hongik University, I taught there as
so
a
you're not there
professor
anymore?
Yeah, I'm kind of in a long sabbatical. So I'm still kind of there helping out with things on the side, but not, officially there as a professor right now.
Okay.
So taking my time off, and I've been there over 10 years, and I started teaching over in Daejeon at a university when I first came to Korea. But when I moved to Seoul, over here, it was Hongik University. So that's right. Well, when I came, to Korea, that's what was my first thing, was teaching speech communication.
Many of us, started out teaching. I was teaching English. I wasn't teaching speech communication, although I ended up teaching many other things. But
Korean
anyway,
too.
That's a different discussion. But you were teaching speech communication. Was that your major?
Yeah, that was my major. That's my background.
Okay.
So that's why you can never,
Where'd you study?
make me shut up.
Where did you study?
I went to Penn State University over in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And the major, being in that major, speech communication, is quite interesting, because sometimes when I was a student, when I'm going to my class, I'll walk through the engineering building, and sometimes that classes would be, just randomly over in the engineering building or something with 150 people. So when you're looking for your class as a speech comm major, or speech communication major, you can just kind of close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, you can hear your class, and there you are. So people like myself, there's, imagine, 150 people who love to just speak.
During classes, because the engineers are kind of quiet.
The engineers are very quiet.
And the speech communication majors, they're the loud room.
Yeah.
If you just go to the loud room, that's what they're.
The loud, friendly room, I'll just have to say, because it's before class starts, so, everyone's talking to their neighbors, Oh, did you go to that party that, Pi-Fi had last time? Oh, no. Things like this.
I actually taught a communication class, too. I was lucky enough to get to teach a communication class at one point. Despite it not being my major, I was teaching the course, and boy, it was very interesting. What did you find was the most important lesson you got out of your major? That's a really cool major to have studied. What did you find was are you glad you majored in speech communication?
I'm so glad I majored in that.
What did you think was the most important thing?
I think one of the most important things
I don't think there's, in Korea, I never heard of a 의사소통 전공, right? I never heard of a communication major.
Well, now some of the universities are finally grasping speech communication.
Are they starting to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some universities call it speech and communication, but, my major is speech communication. And what it is basically the difference between speech communication and communication is speech comm is the art of speaking. Communication is the study of communication. So there's a difference. Because I went into my university as broadcast journalism communication. Too much writing. I was like, wait, I need to speak. So I switched my major over to speech communication, where this is, right for me. But one of the things that I love that I majored in this major is that everything stems from it. I mean, even in university, doctors, lawyers, everyone needs to be able to speak in public. And one thing that I learned from this major is everybody is actually frightened of public speaking. So whether you're Korean or, foreigner, tall, confident, short, we're all afraid. We're all nervous of public speaking. The president of the United States, the president of Korea, there's always a fear of public speaking. But how can you actually, show that you're confident, and how can you do this? It's really practice.
Well, some people at some point start to enjoy public speaking. I'm going to assume you enjoy public speaking. Am I correct?
Well, I enjoy it only if I know what's coming at me, but lots of times, for things like myself as a live DJ before, we have to ad-lib when there's something, not happening, and sometimes the writers don't have the things ready, so you have to ad-lib. But you got to, right on the spot, be able to say something right away. Or sometimes when we're emceeing and things aren't ready, then you got to fill in that gap with a joke or something like this, But if we're prepared, I will enjoy it. But if I am going into something, whereas if this is a talk show in Korean, I don't think I might have a difficulty with it.
Yeah, and when I was teaching communication, though, I kind of taught all communication, and of course nonverbal communication, not just speaking and all that sort of thing. The way you dress communicates a lot about you, and the way you act and the things you say and the way you wear your hair. So anyway, I found all the aspects of communication. We always think of speech and talking about communication, but there's a lot more to it.
Sure,
right?
Sure, there is.
And so what do you think was the focal point or the most important thing you took away from your speech communication major?
You know, interesting enough, one thing about speech communication as a major, and this was in university in America, of course, and I didn't really realize it then, but being in Korea, I realized that when I was studying speech communication, and later I was actually coaching speech, and while I was coaching speech, I really realized it doesn't matter about color, whether you're African American, Asian, Caucasian. It's this thing about speech, and a lot of people, will look at us as Kyopo Korean Americans.
Yeah.
And then if I come to Korea and said, I taught speech or I coached speech to many African Americans, to Caucasian, they're surprised. There's like, you're a Korean face, and how were you able to teach speech to 외국인s? And this is, something where we don't see that color, but naturally, people, what we can say, we studied it, or if you're talented in speaking, or, if you studied it, this is something that you will learn, or coaching, you can pass this teaching on to somebody else, regardless of color, So
well, and this is something that Koreans still the stereotypes, and it's in America too. The stereotypes exist everywhere, and somebody looks at somebody and goes, "Oh, well, they're like this."
Yeah.
And they make that assumption, and quite often that assumption's wrong, isn't it?
And for you probably get the same thing. Here I am, teaching English or speech to, not only Koreans, but really to foreigners, to 외국인. I coach speech, but here you are, a Caucasian person teaching Korean to, some of the foreigners. This is kind of like, whoa.
I get that too, and everybody thinks, no, you don't teach Korean. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So regardless of color, what is it that you learned? What is it that you can pass on, and I think that's very important.
And so what are your future plans for this next year? I guess, you gonna do some more designing, or what do you think?
Well, yeah, I'd love to design. I will definitely do more designing, but maybe not in a big, broad scale. I plan to design my own, wedding dress, and actually before Andre Kim passed away, and I believe I talked about him last time I was here, and I think I don't know if that was when he was still, with us in this world, but yeah, he was talking about it'd be really exciting and fun to kind of design, for me, but he's passed away, so I'll probably design my own dress, and there's this wonderful woman that it's one of my mentors, Professor Kum, and she's over with Hongik University. She's I guess #2 in your fashion industry. So people like Andre Kim, Lee Sang-bok, they are really, really respected.